Broadcasting live. It's America's longest running talk show on computers. It's Computer America, bringing you the biggest names in technology with guest interviews, new products, and your emails. Listen live at computeramerica.com on any device around the world. Email the show at live@computeramerica.com or find us on social media. Be sure to check out our website for contests, giveaways, show notes, live video stream, podcasts, and more. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello and welcome into the Computer America Show. We are the nation's longest running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers and technology. Thank you for joining us. I'm your host, Ben. And she missed her mark, so there you go.
I'm your co-host, Carissa.
Perfect. There we go. Let me guess. Mute switch?
Yeah.
Never fails. So, everyone, welcome into Computer America, and that's okay. Hey, welcome into the program. So today on the show, we will have computer and technology news. Though I gotta say, just looking around on today's announcements, oh my God, it seems like half the companies out there have released new products. So this is going to be a pretty new product heavy segment where we're going to talk about things that, hey, I guess people are, people, and by people I mean companies, I guess, although technically they're the same thing by the law, but yeah, they're all rolling things out for the holidays, and the quote-unquote leaks are starting to come out. A lot to announce, and we'll talk about all of it. But before we get to that, computeramerica.com. That's where you'll find everything, past shows, future shows, all the shows. And, of course, you can find the podcasts as well as articles, reviews, show notes, and more. All that at computeramerica.com. While you're there, also be sure to check out the social media links. Follow us on social media, Twitter, Facebook. Join the thousands of others who have. And, hey, we would definitely appreciate if you would give us a follow. So everyone, Carissa, I think that's about it. How you been?
Pretty good, not too bad. Just kind of hanging out, chilling, you know.
Very good. Well, hey, chill we will today, because today is going to be all about, well, not all about, but mostly about new products. And some big events happened, as well as some stories, including, Chinese mining drones and things like that. Things that are just everyday nowadays, because the future is here, ladies and gentlemen. So, Carissa, unless you have anything else, I think we'll go ahead and get started.
No, I'm ready.
All right, perfect. So everyone, computer and technology news brought to you by Computer America. So everyone, okay, so today on the program, we will be doing, let's see, we'll start with the Amazon stuff. Okay, good, that site is muted. Autoplay videos, bane of my existence, but here we are. Okay, so we're going to start with this article here from Engadget. They did a pretty good write-up of this, and this will apply to anyone out there who is interested in Amazon products. And even if you aren't, well, you're going to be bombarded with advertising concerning exactly that. So yeah, we're going to make you interested. Okay, so we'll start here with this one, and this was a write-up by Nicole Lee, although I'm sure that there were a couple other contributors. And surprise, surprise, a lot of it had to do with the Echoes, the Ring devices, and really home security, home automation. That was the big thing. That's what Amazon seems to really be pushing, and hey, we have a couple new devices. So I think first we're going to talk about this article here, and again, all of these were just announced today. The Eero 6 and the Eero Pro 6, and these are Wi-Fi mesh networks. Carissa, in your household, do you have the singular router, and that's pretty much it for your house?
Yeah, pretty much. And we've got the main computer set up, like connected directly to it, and then a few laptops and other devices around. But yeah, it's just the single one.
Just the same, just a single router. Well, the new trend is that, especially for places that have, and I don't even want to say like big square footage, because I think that 800 to 1,000 square foot apartments and houses and things like that could probably, should be able to get away with just the singular router. But when you get to, 1,800 square feet, maybe having a second node because it doesn't reach all the way to the bedroom or something, up to like 24, 3,000 square foot homes, you might want 2 or 3 points. The point is you want multiple devices blasting out Wi-Fi signal so that everyone gets a good, clear signal. I'm not sure, Carissa, well, I'm sure that you do know the disadvantages of a poor Wi-Fi connection. It sucks. Everything's slower. It just seems like life is slower. And hey, it's...
It's just generally not good.
Yeah, so mesh networking is here, and especially for homes with 2 stories or something like that. Mesh networking is here to stay, and up until this point, Netgear has been one of the premier devices to do this, and I think Google had a pretty solid offering of mesh devices. And hey, most of the things we will be talking about today need a strong and steady internet connection. So Eero, they're willing to sell their own routers. Eero 6 is 130. Eero Pro 6 is 230. The previous generations, Amazon will sell them in packs of 2 or 3. And according to Amazon, the new Eeros can connect 75 plus devices simultaneously. Oh, wow. And they say it can have twice as much bandwidth as a Zigbee smart home hub. So,
well, that's sweet.
Yeah, and really, this is, again, you mentioned, Carissa, the one computer wired connection, a couple laptops, a couple cell phones, but these are for homes that are going to start having 20, 30, 40 devices on a regular basis, all transmitting data. And yeah, this is the technology of the future. So there you go. It. Yeah, so that's the first one. Pricing it with other ones comparatively, I have not done any testing like we have with some of the other routers that we have articles on, but the price is actually on the low side. This is actually one of the more affordable mesh networking systems I've seen. So the price is good. The quality, who knows? I mean, it's Amazon. You assume some kind of quality control, but who knows? But yeah, that's definitely on the cheaper side. So that was the first one. Second one, the Ring car alarm, Ring car cam. That should be pretty obvious. Dash cam, but through Ring, because Ring makes webcams already. All they had to do is miniaturize it and tie it in with their existing system. So the car cam will let you monitor for bumps and break-ins with real-time alerts and footage with sounds very, very similar to Alcam. It also has the emergency crash assistant that can call services, and well, you can also say you know who. I'm not going to say it for anyone who has those devices, but you know who, I'm being pulled over, to instruct the camera to record any interaction with law enforcement.
Oh, that's sweet.
Interesting. The Ring car alarm is about $60, while the Car Cam and the Kinect are both priced at about $200, and the Car Connect is for Tesla devices in particular. So, and I'm assuming that that's the case because Tesla has a full-blown infotainment system, and that is, it's much more complex than a lot of other people kind of have. So, okay. So with that being said, let's go ahead and continue on here to.
I do wonder just on this one particular item, just like because so many people do have Ring around the country, I wonder if that's going to put more car cams into vehicles just because you can't connect it to that service that they already have in place.
I think
we don't really use them a lot here.
Yeah, I think that anything Amazon does, it's a pretty safe bet that more and more people will be interested in that. So, yeah, I would not be surprised if that increased adoption. I know that I've been using a dash cam for a little while now, and I do find it convenient. Luckily, I've never had to really, pull footage off it for any kind of legal reason, but they do provide you with a little bit of sense of security, especially if you're a decent driver, a defensive driver. If you are I don't have a bleep button. I should totally have a bleep button. If you are a horrible driver, and you know what I mean, don't get one because it will be used against you. Okay. So this is actually probably one of the more interesting products announced today from Amazon. And we talked a little bit about this before the show, Carissa, but the Ring Always Home Cam. And you can see it here. Looks a little bit like almost like a USB stick, a thumb drive stuck into
a box fan.
Yeah, like a box fan, like a piece of bread. But it's it's probably 2 by 2 or 3 by 3 inches, not big at all. And this is the completely new camera that can fly around your home and offer multiple points of view. Yes, it doubles as a security drone. It'll cost $250 when it goes on sale in 2021. There you go. Ring also introduced a new mailbox sensor as well and attaches to your mailbox. The mailbox sensor will be available later on in October for only 30 months. $30, not 30 months, $30. And but I think that's the super interesting one is that, Carissa, I think that the Ring security cam, this one, you put it in the center of your home, in the living room, kitchen, whatever, somewhere central, and it will be able to detect walls and people, hopefully, and pets and things like that. And if it hears a bump, if it, I'm assuming it can be self-guided. If you want to open up the app, it can do, I guess, regular checks, like every 30 minutes, go take a video, around the home. But yeah, I wanted your reaction to the idea of, drones have been in consumers' hands for quite a while now, but now it's Amazon offering a little personal drone that will essentially, just do the rounds.
So I like it. I think the design could be better. It doesn't look as cool as it could look. It's a drone. I mean, it kind of looks kind of lame for a drone, but sure. I get the need for it. Like people who live in other states who might, have rental properties, they might want one of those in there so that way you don't have to have somebody go and check all the time on that property, for example. But I don't know how I feel about Amazon having video of the inside of my house.
Yeah, it's it's definitely a little concerning, I think, to people who would be using this. But to me, it's more like it's one of the first times you have a drone for the inside of your house, because we have talked about drones that are for like gutter inspection or, kind of roof damage and things like that. But to actually have one in the home and flying by you on a regular basis, that seems so supremely science fiction,
Right.
If there was some kind of like Blade Runner, set 50 years in the future, and everyone walked around and there were, just like a random passing by drone that would dodge you but keep, kind of taking video. It seems futuristic, seems cool, but the actual practicality of it, yeah, I think you have it nailed. People who leave their homes for an extended period of time, so many of the other options that they have, including the doorbell camera.
Watching your pets, that kind of stuff.
They even have pet cams, and Ring already sells pet cams. This would be something for, like you said, people leaving their houses for weeks or months on end. So, yeah, it's certainly different. And of course, mixed with the mailbox sensor, clearly Ring wants to be in every facet of your home. Okay.
I like the mailbox sensor, though. That's a nice idea. So that way you don't have to wonder when the mailman's going to get there. Just bleeps
when the mailman's there.
Up.
Has it been opened? Has it been opened multiple times in case anyone's snooping on your mail? Yeah, there's a lot of good reasons to have a mailbox sensor. The other one, Amazon Echo Show. So the Echo Show, for those of you who don't know, it's their big bulbousy smart speaker that has great sound, and the show in the name implies that you can see things, including, it's just a 10-inch tablet slapped onto a really nice speaker. And of course, it is Amazon Echo controlled. So it's a smart speaker and it'll be able to do that. And they say now it has smart follow. So if you are standing in the kitchen and you're kind of over there cooking and then you're, sitting at the bar there, or you're at the sink with the dishwasher, it can actually track people within the room, and it will turn itself to make sure that you can see the face of the tablet at all times.
That's really cool. I like that a lot.
It's cool and creepy. It's something that I guess we've said before on the show, which is like, at this point, we have given up privacy. Privacy is like really no more.
Right.
But don't get me wrong. I'm not. At one point I was, but now I'm less so. Their camera and microphones in our homes will never be private again. But I know that we have data protection, and thanks to some of the recent laws that were passed just in the past couple of years, they have to be very careful with that. I feel more comfortable with what they're doing, and with automation, I know that these things are happening automatically, and they are not really being like, even though I have like microphones all over my house, I have cameras all over my house, I am fairly confident that no human being has ever checked my video or checked my audio that wasn't me in particular. There's just so much data. There are so many inputs especially for someone like Amazon. No actual person is kind of looking at me in my home, and right. I think, I don't know, that just makes me feel better,
Yeah, absolutely. I kind of agree, because there's so much data out there anyway. They're not going to want to look at Ben Crossman's data. They don't care about your data.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Nothing fancy. But I like that, because I've been looking for like a solution for my kitchen, because, you don't want to like touch your screens and your speakers and all that with, dirty hands if you're cooking or something like that. So just being able to yell at your tiny TV and then it points at you, that's really great. I like that a lot.
I've had one of the, not this device, but just a smart speaker in the kitchen. And I got to say that having, being able to look up stuff and, do conversions on the fly and look up recipes just with your voice has certainly been very, very useful. I'm actually finding myself using it a lot more. And again, this is something where it's a tablet, so you could watch, Hulu, or, they even say here in the description, anything on Amazon. You can order things. It can detect a specific person. So it's not even so much that, someone else is going to walk into, like, let's say if someone else walks into the room and you're watching a TV show, it won't immediately snap to just the second person. It can actually detect that, Ben has a very round face because he is a very round person, and it will, just by the shape of your face, stay with you. It should not snap to the other person who's not watching the device.
Nice.
Yeah, so you can watch anything that you normally would with Hulu and Echo Show, and of course, Netflix will be included as well. But yeah, it's very much a kitchen-oriented solution. I don't think a lot of people would really demand having a tablet for viewing pleasure or anywhere else. But yeah, I'm glad to see that they're updating it and keeping with it. The next one, Fire TV Stick, Fire TV Stick Lite. That's pretty obvious. Streaming devices are pretty good, and these priced at $40 and $30 respectively. I was just shopping for these the other day, and when it came down to it, I actually purchased the Roku, because the Roku is very, very good. I would even say it's probably the best streaming device on the market.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, the Fire TV Stick is still a thing. So there you go.
Excellent.
Let's see. So after that, Luna streaming service. This might be. Oh, I actually saw this coming. So obviously, we stream on twitch.tv /Computer America. Give it a check out. But twitch.tv for the last couple of months, Amazon has been renaming it, especially Twitch Prime, to Prime Gaming. That was kind of the transition. And I was thinking that, they're obviously trying to pull their gaming and streaming service more in-house. They're trying to do away with Twitch, which is the name of the company that they purchased, and they're trying to bring it more into Amazon. So there's obviously a rebranding effort, and this seems to be, well, some of it, with the Luna streaming service. Gotta add another one. After all the other streaming services, you now have Luna, saying that it's a new gaming streaming service called Luna as a competitor to xCloud and Stadia. So, yeah, and again, I fully believe that Twitch is going to be somehow rolled into this to, kind of partner up a little bit. But, yeah, so it comes with Twitch integration. It will support Fire TV, PC, Mac, iOS devices, and Android coming later, saying that it's a low latency Amazon-enabled Luna controller, which will be available for $50 during early access, and the gamepad will connect directly to the cloud. Let's see, so they promise 4K 60 FPS, but it might be capped at 1080p and 60 FPS in the early days. Obviously, their initial server load is going to be highest when it first starts. So, with that being said, real quick, Carissa, do you know what game streaming services are?
I had thought this was just like Twitch, where you watched people play, videos of people playing games, but it sounds like this is more like Netflix, where you can actually play the games.
Well, they said xCloud and Stadia. And I think those two, and xCloud, I think, is the Microsoft offering, and Stadia is the Google offering.
Okay.
Are you familiar with either one of these? And
I am not.
Yeah. Okay. So for everyone out there who does not know about this, so you pick a game, any game, and you subscribe to the service, and a lot of them are for free, but of course you can pay for other ones. But I think with Stadia and xCloud, anything like most of the games that you can stream are included with the subscription service. And let's say I wanted to play God of War. I could sit down at my TV, I could sit down with my phone, I could sit down with really anything that can display an image, and regardless of the hardware it's running on, all of the processing is done server side on Amazon's side, and you are simply getting a hopefully low latency visual feed of the game that you're playing. So
on whatever device you're using.
Yes. So you will get the same experience on a superpowered PC, on a 10-year-old PC, on a phone, on a TV, on a tablet, whatever. You will get the same quality of gaming experience you would anywhere. That is the hope.
That's amazing, and I feel like we're actually in the future now, and that's really exciting. Can you do it? Is it cross-compatible between? Obviously, I guess could you play with your friends on this as well? I guess is what I'm wondering.
Yes, there are multiplayer games, and you could definitely do that. The only this used to be a thing. I'm trying to remember the service way back when.
Oh, it was GameFly.
GameFly was definitely one of them. Although GameFly wanted to be like a Netflix of video games, they did have for a very brief moment there, GameFly did have an online service. Anyways, they tried this for like the past 10 years and it hasn't worked out. And the real reason for that is that networking. I'm sure that you've played video games with really, really high latency where you press a button, perform an action, and then it takes even like half a second, 1 second, or worst case, 2 or 3 seconds, makes the game almost unplayable, especially if you're in like a reaction or a competitive environment.
Right.
So past iterations of this kind of streaming service have failed because that latency is so high. No one wants to play Call of Duty when you have a 0.75 second gaming a 0.75 second lag or latency. And so hopefully they got this down. I think everyone should really take note of this. The people who are putting out these things, and I think that PlayStation might have a version of this, but not really, is Microsoft, Amazon, now Amazon, and Google. And all three of them are huge arbiters of networking. They run a lot of networks. They run a lot of the nodes that are that content is hosted on. They know how to get content as quickly through the internet, through your network to your device. So it seems like this is kind of like the natural evolution that the people who essentially run the internet, or the companies who run the internet, are the ones who are going to try to bring you this service because they're probably the only ones who can do it effectively. Obviously, Amazon with Amazon Web Services, which I think about half of the internet nowadays is run off of Amazon Web Services. They're hopefully going to be able to get this to you super early. So again, $50. Let's see. So yeah, the controller that you play it on, $50, and it seems like a lot of this is done through the controller, so you kind of have to have that. But yeah, and I'm sure that the service itself, if I had to guess, probably included with an Amazon Prime membership. And if not, it's probably going to be, some of the other ones are like $20 a month or something like that.
Probably added on or something.
Yeah, it's most definitely tacked on to the, Amazon Prime membership. So just one more reason. Wow, I completely lied. It's right here in the description. The Luna subscription is $6 a month and will feature around 50 games during the early access. And,
oh my God.
Yeah, and unfortunately, nothing too exciting. I'm sure that will come with time, but Control, Resident Evil 7, Tacoma, Metro Exodus, and The Sexy Brutale. Never heard of any of them, but you'll be able to play them anywhere you want. It's just launching. They need to develop it, and we'll see what happens with it. But that's about everything. That's about everything that Amazon announced. Let's see. I'll pick through real quick and see if there's anything else. This one right here, for $49 a year. You can have your Amazon connected device bark at intruders. It's called Guard Plus, and it's a premium version of its Guard service that turns Echo speakers and smart displays into home security devices. Your device can even listen for smoke and carbon monoxide alarms, and they can bark like dogs or give you a notification if it detects one while you're away. So, and of course, one of those would be a potential intruder. Guard Plus can also connect you to an emergency helpline staffed by agents who can contact emergency services on your behalf. You'll be able to link Guard Plus to any other security system, including A3 Smart Home, Abode, Residio, okay? Obviously, like Reside O. I guess would be the proper way to say it. Ring, Scout Alarm, and Wise. It also works with Ring, Blink, Arlo, and August cameras, and you can get all that for about $49 a year or about $5 a month. Much like Amazon, much like Apple, Amazon is clearly pushing a ton of these services where you subscribe, and you give them $200-$300 a year. That seems to be the goal of Amazon.
Well, that's where the money's at, because it's like, if somebody buys something, it's a one-time purchase, and then they use it till it dies, and it could take 10 years to die. So that's, money they're not getting. So if they sign you up for all these subscriptions, that's at least a regular cash flow for them.
It's definitely the Netflix model, and it's very, very popular. But speaking of which, why don't we go ahead and segue very smoothly, I think. Speaking of things that are actually not going to be a subscription-based iteration. And this has to do with this story right here, this one from MacRumors, of all places, talking about Microsoft. MacRumors talking about Microsoft. Check this one out. Microsoft will next year offer a new perpetual release of Microsoft Office for Mac, Windows, and, any other PC that doesn't require a subscription to use, and that's according to Microsoft. There you go.
Excellent.
So for those of you who don't know, much like Adobe, which has been putting out that cloud service that you subscribe to for like $49 a year or like $80 a year, instead of shelling out, $1,100 for their product and then 3 years later it being out of date or them having to continue to support it, they'd rather you pay them $100 or $200 a year, and they just have to maintain a singular version of the software. Adobe has been doing that for quite a while now, and it doesn't seem like they're going to be backing down from that. Microsoft, though, the last time that they released a Microsoft Office product that was standalone was Office 2019. So that was in 2018. You're looking at now about 3 years later. So it used to be every 2 years. Now it's every 3 years. Yeah, you can buy Office 2021, and we don't know the exact release date, but it will be a standalone product. You buy it once, and it's good for the life of that product.
Awesome.
And I'll pose the question to you, Carissa. Why do you think they're doing that? Because obviously everything else is going subscription based. Why do you think Microsoft is, kind of swapping it out?
Probably because people hate it and it's terrible.
Well,
I don't like it. It's not good.
So
I've been using LibreOffice for that reason, because I don't want to pay for their subscription.
LibreOffice is very, very good. I'm glad that you use that. I'm sure that a lot of Linux users out there are like, well, of course, why wouldn't you use LibreOffice? The real reason is probably the enterprise. Not many people pay for word processors or anything like that anymore. I think that even Google has taken a pretty big share of the word processing, document processing, because Google has an entire suite that you can use for free and save to your cloud drive and is fully integrated with emails and things like that. So the real reason they're doing this is because they know that Office 365 probably just, they have their subscribers. Students probably still need something like this. It's, it's a mainstay of their company, but a standalone product is vital for corporations and large entities that, let's face it, if you have to train, let's take like the healthcare industry, and you have to teach everyone how to use Excel, to do all of their number crunching and things like that. If you have to train them every 6 months on a new major release of an ongoing subscription-based software, that's a lot of time spent training. But if you can buy one iteration of Office, let's say Office 2021, train everyone on it, and you know that product will work exactly as it had the day you bought it, you can invest the time to train people how to use this product effectively. There will be no controversial changes to the product that they buy. So,
but what happens when your hardware is out of date? Like, do you need to buy a new version of this?
When
like,
your
you
hardware...
can't run like Windows 95 version of Microsoft Word or anything like that on computers now. I mean, I guess maybe you could, but like, why would you? You
would have to buy a new version. That is always the struggle. And I think that people out there, and I know for a fact there are probably people still using, not anymore. I hope not. Office 2000 was pretty big.
Ooh, it was.
And then of course there was Office 2007. Which introduced the ribbon feature. Highly controversial. I'm sure that people still haven't gotten over it, especially people who are LibreOffice users. But when your 2007, 2013, 2017, whatever Office version is no longer supported on your hardware, it was dead software. You just couldn't use it anymore, and you had to buy the new version. So, there are trade-offs to the subscription-based model. There are trade-offs to a standalone model, but again, this is for corporations that have, tens of thousands of employees, and they need a singular process that will not change for the next 10 years. So this is for them. Personally, I would probably stick to the subscription model if you need something like this. If not, just go to a free version through Google, Libra, or any of these other ones. But some people really need this, and hey, I'm happy that Microsoft is at least supporting those who want to feel like they own something, want to feel like they could just pay once and they're done. That there's no more continuous charging going on. So there you go.
Right.
So there's that story. Very, very good if you are a fan of that kind of thing. Okay, so we have a ton of other articles that we have here, some that I really wanted to cover. Carissa, let's get fun with it. And by fun, I mean interesting. Check this one out. And you talked about this. Chinese asteroid mining robot due to
Yeah.
launch in November. That's right. You know, if having a drone in your home to monitor your surroundings wasn't futuristic enough, that's right. The Chinese, the ever mysterious Far East, are launching an asteroid mining robot.
They're going to get so many resources from that if they can manage to do it.
Well, you know, when it comes to good real time strategy, you definitely want to expand as early as possible and start getting those resources flowing as quickly as you can for rapid expansion. So that's very good on them.
Need more minerals.
Yeah. Must construct additional pylons, indeed. So looks like China's going to do that, but in space. So here we go. A Chinese company says that they'll be launching an asteroid mining robot by November. Origin Space is a private company based in Beijing, and though they're calling this an asteroid mining robot, it's really a precursor mission to actually mining. In reality, it's called the Neo-1, as it's called, and will be testing technologies aimed at the eventual mining of asteroids. So this is not the... and obviously the title seems like complete bait now, but this seems like it's going to be, can we land a spacecraft on an asteroid, which we've already done? And then the second part is, can we mine something in zero gravity and, you know, whipping through space at 18,000 miles an hour? Is that something we can do? And this is going to answer that question. So, according to multiple news sources, Neo-1 will be launched on a Chinese Long March rocket as a secondary payload. It's a 66-pound spacecraft, will enter a 500-kilometer altitude, and it will be sun-synchronous orbit around Earth. And with that, the goal is to verify it and demonstrate multiple functions such as a spacecraft orbital maneuver, simulated small celestial body capture, intelligent spacecraft identification, and control. Essentially, this is them just saying, hey, can we do all the stuff that's needed to mine, let alone mine the actual thing? So, and here they say that it's much more controversial. Not everybody's in favor of it. One group of scientists say that the bulk of the solar system should be left as a space wilderness. I think that is probably in the minority of opinions. Before we kind of go off into this tangent, Carissa, what do you think about a space wilderness? What do you think about asteroid, not just asteroid capturing, but asteroid mining in general?
I think it would be super useful for like science and humanity and stuff. I get wanting to have the wilderness, absolutely, but it's space. There's going to be more wilderness. It's all wilderness. You're not going to get all of it. There's no way.
There's
so it's probably fine.
There's so much space. There's so much resources out there. Let's see. How much is the asteroid belt worth? So we'll look this up real quick.
If you think about it, like how many asteroids are in our solar system? How long would it take us to mine every asteroid in our solar system?
There's an entire additional planet worth of asteroids that never formed, that was either destroyed or whatever, called the asteroid belt, that is currently sitting there. And check this out. Carissa, I'll go ahead and let you take first crack at this. How much... in terms of, let's say US dollars, how much is the asteroid belt worth? And by worth, this is something that I should clarify for people. I'm not just saying like, it's not just about money. It's about value and products that you can make, resources that you can use, things that human beings, including building houses, building cars, building batteries, building, let's say every single person on Earth is now going to have the resource. It's not just about scarcity. It's about, plenty. Every single person on Earth can have that car, can have that house, can have that computer, can have all these resources at their fingertips. So in terms of value, how much do you think the asteroid belt is worth?
Trillions of dollars, probably.
You were off by only a single order of magnitude, $700 quadrillion, or equal to about $100 billion for every individual person.
Well, that's delightful.
And of course, if you actually harvested that much material and spread it out among people, no, everyone would not suddenly become 100 billionaires. No, that just means that, hey, the true value of metal suddenly becomes so inexpensive, everyone gets access to it. The value of precious metals becomes so valuable, or so commonplace, everyone gets access to it. Like, there is so much good that can happen when you actually start harvesting asteroids. It's definitely going to have a trickle down effect. And obviously, there's so much mining to do out there to actually capture these asteroids and to actually, kind of use the material, bring it back to Earth, or even not even bring it back to Earth. Take it to the moon, take it to Mars, take it to other places, break it down, and start building your space stations out there with it. But there's so much value, and that's just in the asteroid belt. Like, that's not even like neighboring systems that we are nowhere near
exactly
kind of capturing. That's just in the asteroid belt. So
one of my concerns would be is if let's say you wrangle one of these asteroids, what happens if you accidentally bring it too close into orbit and it slingshots into the planet? Like, that would be one of my concerns. Probably the biggest concern, frankly.
I'm sure that is their concern as well. Is, oh wait, let's not much like backing a pickup truck into your garage, not putting the material through the wall. That is That is very important. And of course,
it's part of the game, I guess.
Definitely. And, you know, there's also another thing is like, do we just say whoever captures these asteroids owns them? Is that in the hands of private space companies? I mean, I think it's been ruled before that space is, you know, you cannot claim space as a particular country's zone. You know, there's not like the American orbit or the Russian orbit or the Chinese orbit, or, you know, you can't say like that's an American asteroid or that's a Russian asteroid, or, you know, things like that. Claiming property doesn't work the same way that it does on Earth, and that's by design. So the question becomes, you know, even if something like this happens and a private company is able to mine this, which, by the way, this is already a stated objective of Blue Origin, which is Amazon's space venture. This is something that even they claim they're going to do. The question is, you know, even if it's done by a private company or let's say a state-funded project, who gets those? You know, who gets those resources and how they're used and how they're distributed and the value that comes from them? That's going to be another legal battle, because if I'm understanding the current laws that everyone, or, you know, the current treaties that everyone has signed, that would be, I guess, kind of divided up into like a multinational venture. So
yeah, you put it in like the UN or something like that, and then they would disperse it and put things in place to actually get things moving and use the resources where they need to be, I would think.
Yeah, something more collective, because obviously, again, no
space
one
is for everyone.
Yeah, no one country can claim this is my space. We already do that on Earth. We do that with airspace. We do that with our little lines on our map. But that clearly cannot go forward into space, because that would cause all kinds of problems. That would cause Gundams, if I'm being honest with you. That's what that would cause. But yeah, China, they're looking to do this. So let's see, the U.S. To continue on with the article, the U.S. president signed an executive order to encourage resource extraction on the moon and on asteroids. It made it legal for U.S. citizens to own and sell resources from the moon, asteroids, and even from Mars. So the stage is set. There you go. I bet you didn't even know that was something that President Trump recently signed, was that you can sell moon rocks. If you can go pick up moon rocks, you can sell them. Yeah, it's the legality of this whole thing has to be hammered out here soon. But I like the fact that we're finally getting to it. Now, I will say, to the first point of criticism that we were talking about just then, saying that it should be, you know, kind of that space resources should be left alone as like a preservation or a park. First of all, I don't see the problem with that, is because, well, there's really not much life. And if there is life, so far everywhere we've checked, no life whatsoever. So, we're still there. We still have a lot of places to check, but who are we preserving it for? Who knows? The second part of it is that I'm in favor of like heritage, I guess, celestial bodies, like, Halley's Comet, for instance. Don't capture Halley's Comet.
Right.
Some of the bigger, more well-known, don't blast a giant chunk out of the moon. Or even like the side of the moon that faces the Earth, don't strip mine that, for instance.
Right.
But everything else seems like it should be fair game, to me at least.
Yeah, I mean, you should be able to get close enough to planets, let's say skim off whatever goo is, radiating off of that into space and then bring it back and you've got a billion diamonds and then you can just, I don't know, do something with those, I guess.
Yeah, make diamond swords and boots and armor, and yeah, you're good to go.
Yeah.
It's for sure. So the hype machine was kicked into gear. Before long, people like Ted Cruz were opining about trillionaires in space, and Jeff Bezos imagined a future where all industrial activity took place in space. Earth would at long last be relieved of the burden. And to his point there, you would do everything that required like burning and smelting and, combining things into alloys that would normally pollute the Earth. And you would do them out in space so that you don't get that rampant greenhouse effect. And instead, the solar winds would push that smog and detritus out of our solar system, so our Earth can be happy, healthy little Earth, and you just send back more refined products. So there you go. There's all that. This article goes on for really a long time. It's a great article. You should definitely check that out and how how we would break down one of these systems. But yeah, looks like China's going to try to mine. That's where they're at. They're at the stage before they actually do it. So
I got to start somewhere.
Absolutely. I'm personally super excited about this. This is obviously a huge step for mankind, and America's working on it, China's working on it. Really, anyone with a space program, this is the eventual end game, because there's just so much. And I keep saying resources, but I say that in lieu of. I'm sorry, I keep saying money, and I say that in lieu of resources. There's just so much that we can do with all that stuff. So there you go. Carissa, since we last did a show, and I know this happened Tuesday, but we had a great segment that everyone should go check out about elections and why they aren't held online and things like that. But on Tuesday was Battery Day for Tesla, and I personally did not tune in. Did you?
No.
Yeah, there you go. Well, it was kind of a flop, but Elon Musk did reveal a couple of things. And this is an article from NBC News, and saying that, well, Elon Musk reveals plans to slash electric battery costs and build a $25,000 Tesla. I think right now, if I have this right, the cheapest Tesla, I think right now is like $35,000. And most of the time there are credits that you can apply for to buy an electric vehicle and own an electric vehicle. So you can save off like $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000. But yeah, unsubsidized, you're looking at a $35,000 car, and Elon Musk wants to bring that down to $25,000. And I think for a very economic, sporty, functional like sedan that is completely battery operated, and on top of that has a range of like 250 miles, that's going to make a pretty big difference when you actually compare, let's say, a $25,000 electric car that's actually good versus a $20,000 to $25,000 gas car.
I think the way that this would be, I love the idea of it, making it more affordable for everybody, and that'll really get most people on the bandwagon. But I feel like he should be doing some kind of like trade-in offer or something, like, oh, you show up to the Tesla dealership with your beat up old gas car, we'll rip it apart and give you $5,000 for it, and something like that, an incentive.
I'm curious if if Tesla would be interested in getting into the secondhand car market. I know that there are other companies that are very Carvana, for instance, is very active in the secondhand car market. I just don't think that that's currently in their game plan, but it would make sense. Obviously, if you want people to buy a lot of your cars, they're going to have a lot of old cars that they're not going to want. So you should do something with them. And by the way, he also mentioned that the $25,000 electric vehicle that he's talking about would also be fully autonomous. So cars, self-driving, fully censored, that kind of thing. Yeah, a fully autonomous.
So it's the same car, just cheaper.
Yeah, exactly. Currently, none of his cars are fully autopilot, but you can clearly see that that's where it's going. So let's see. So to get there, they're reimagining virtually every part of the manufacturing process and in part borrowing ideas from the bottling industry, which runs its production line smoothly and continuously rather than one bottle at a time. So that's how they're going to make up those savings, is that they are going to build cars continuously. Like, they're never going to stop. They're going to keep going. And the majority of the car manufacturing, Chris, I know that we were both in Greenville, South Carolina for a while, and they had some car manufacturing plants there. And to hear how people would, they said that, my job is to run wires all throughout the car before it's assembled. My job is to put in car seats. My job is to put in these bolts for the hinge that does this. I met so many people that had so many jobs in putting together a car, and they had humans do these basic tasks repetitively for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, or in some cases 12 hours a day, 3 to 4 times a week. And they just had a constant shift of people that would do this one task over and over again. That's where Tesla and Elon Musk are hoping to save money, is by automating those things and making it actually, kind of more affordable by just continuously printing vehicles.
Right, but then what about the people that need jobs that are used to doing things like that?
They will have access to a cheaper car, so they won't need to work because it will be less expensive. Probably
you could just live in your car; it's fine.
But yeah, and of course, through automation, there is of course a need for jobs, and I think that having that conversation right now is very, very poignant, considering that, what are we up to, 30% unemployment rate, or 25%?
That.
Yeah, there are currently 30 million Americans without a job right now who are out looking for work. And talking about automation is obviously a sensitive subject to those who are looking for work. But this is what we say on the show. Yeah, automation is going to displace jobs. It's going to make more jobs. It's going to remove a lot of jobs. And in a lot of cases, it will not make as many jobs as it will, kind of remove jobs from the market. But it's necessary. You can't tell technology, don't do what it is that you do best because we don't like that. That's not how technology works. It will reach its inevitable end one way or another. And I can't really see it from where I'm sitting. I want to look over at my bookshelf, but we had an author on talking exactly about this topic about a year ago. And he predicted all these things were going to come to pass, that jobs were going to be lost, that kind of thing. But the overall sentiment in his book was really, this frees up humans to be more human.
Right.
Humans got smarter when we learned to cultivate the land, because we didn't have to spend time hunting and cooking food and figuring out where our next meal was going to come from. No, we were planting crops, and we had plenty of food for later. So then your first systems of government, for instance, were formed, because people could do that. People could become scholars. They could become historians. They could do more jobs. And to some extent, that is what technology kind of holds for us, is that we are no longer, we no longer have to employ what is it, like 30 million production jobs in this country. We no longer have to have 30 million people doing those jobs. Instead, we have those 30 million people making food or making art or making music, or let's face it, just consuming these things and, providing value in other ways to society. Like, there's going to be transition, there's going to be pain, but you can't tell technology, stop, we're not ready. It's going to happen either way. So, Very good point. Definitely something we're talking about. But to Tesla's point, they're hoping that they're going to build a $25,000 car. And again, right now, you can buy the Model S, which is a $35,000 car, although the backlog for that is huge. Like, I think they're still on like a 2-year waiting list. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, I know. So to be able to actually build an electric car, not that just, people want, but that they can actually deliver, that's going to be huge. So let's see, Musk hinted at yet a third new product. Real quick. Okay, so they talked about the first car that will be a $25,000 electric car. They can prove and come through with low-price EVs, had no problem finding ways to launch an increasingly costly niche. So the second new product was the Tesla Cybertruck, which had a hilarious debut with the window shattering and things like that. But so far, I've heard a lot of people are very excited for the Cybertruck, even with as goofy as it looks. Now, also originally said to be called Maximum Plaid, check that out. This is the highest performance version of its Plaid Model S. So originally said to be called Maximum Plaid, an obscure reference to the movie Spaceballs. I don't really think it's obscure, but there you go. The sedan will deliver over 1,000 horsepower and launch from 0 to 60 in under 2 seconds. And that's not bad for a $35,000 car. That's faster than most, high-end performance vehicles. So let's see, it will feature an equally breathtaking price, $145,000, although I take that back. Maximum Plaid is going to be maximum expensive, $145,000, in line with comparable extreme machines from BMW and Mercedes-Benz. Now, third product, all this again hinted at Battery Day just a couple of days ago. They said a third new product, a downsized version of the coming Cybertruck designed for international markets. The initial truck, which will be aimed primarily at the US, already has generated about 600,000 advanced reservations. To be clear though, Tesla reservations are different than Tesla purchases. Tesla reservations are, put me on the email list, here's $100, and I promise I will come back and buy your $45,000 vehicle when it's ready. So
just $100 down? That's not bad.
Yeah, $100 down, and then you have to come up with the other $45,000 later. So
easy.
Easy. And I know tons of people who have no intention whatsoever of buying one, but they'll still put down $100 just for a chance of reservation, because who knows, they might hit the lottery, whatever. And at the, when it's your turn to buy your vehicle, if you don't want to buy it, they just give you your $100 back. So,
that's nice.
Clearly there's interest, but I don't think there's, 600,000 people waiting for a Cybertruck, but still, he said that, quote, "We've stopped counting." The lengthy presentation by Musk and other Tesla leaders didn't touch on several things. There was no mention of batteries that could last 1 million miles, which is something that Elon Musk previously stated he's looking for. That's something that Tesla is definitely working on, is being able to build batteries, and not just batteries, but batteries that last 10 times longer than our batteries today do, can handle extreme temperatures and be easily mass produced. All of that, that's why people were calling it Battery Day, quote unquote, was because Tesla was supposed to announce that they have figured out how to build the next generation in battery technology. And they did not mention that. But a lot of the other stuff that they talked about looked really cool. Let's see. So General Motors, in a rare move, revealed that it pays about $145 a kilowatt hour for the batteries in its Chevrolet Bolt EV, but says it expects to reach about $100 when its Ultium battery plant in Ohio launches this year. Chris, I believe that we talked about the Ultium system not too long ago, and that was a whole thing that I'm really looking to get into. But yeah, to wrap it all up, Battery Day, kind of a disappointing thing for people who are looking for very clear benchmarks that Tesla was supposed to hit. But I think overall, I mean, clearly the aspirations were there, and yeah, they're still working on it. So Elon Musk will be Elon Musk.
And that's all you can do. I mean, it's going to happen. Science takes time, regardless of how you think things are going to go. They don't always go that way. So they're probably just working on it.
Definitely. So I'm going to just try to squeeze this in real quick. It's we have like less than 2 minutes left, but I really want everyone to know this. Wikipedia is getting a new look for the first time in 10 years. I think all of us use Wikipedia at some point. We have looked up something totally obscure, totally weird, and you know what? The point is, it's getting a new look, and we'll include it in the show notes there. Carissa, real quick, I'm going to do an aside here. Did you hear about the gentleman who wrote most of the Scottish translation of Wikipedia?
No.
This one gentleman is claimed to have translated like 150,000 pages of Wikipedia into the Scottish native language.
Huh.
Here's the thing though. He doesn't speak it. He doesn't understand it. It is a horrible mix of broken Scottish, almost stereotypical Scottish accents, and it's just totally bogus and really is honestly probably going to hurt more than it will help Scottish native language speakers. And of course, some people actually read Wikipedia in the language that they're trying to learn so that they can pick up some obscure words and, some phrasing and things like that. He's probably done more harm to the Scottish language than anyone else in history.
That's actually a little bit funny. I mean, not a whole lot of people read it, and I get needing to preserve it, but now we have that on the internet, and he spent a lot of time on that nonsense. That's
weird.
Impressive.
It's so weird. So yeah, there's that story.
Weird.
Everyone, again, we'll include this in the show notes. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to Computer America. We hope you had fun. I know I did. And everyone, thank you for tuning in. We'll catch you next time. And by the way, tomorrow, Nathan Evans, Pop Zara, tune in. Bye, everyone.
Bye.